Hello everyone, my name is Luis and I'll be your host for today's webinar brought to you by POLI.design from Milano. Today's webinar has the title of Boost Your Career as a Yacht Designer at the Politecnico di Milano. During this webinar, you will learn more about the admission process and financial aid information and the structure and contents of the Specializing Master in Yacht Design. You will also hear more about the facilities network with companies and industrial associations, as well as alumni talent stories. And telling you more will be today's today's presenters. With us we have Andrea Ratti. Hi Andrea, how are you?
Hello, fine.
With us today we also have Elisa Piccini. She's from the POLI.design training office. Word regards, Elisa, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Everything okay?
Thank you.
Ready to start.
And finally with us, we have Thibaut Lemerdy. He's an alumnus of the program. Hi Thibaut, how are you?
Hello, good, very good.
Thank you. I'm sure the audience wants to hear more from you than from me. So without further ado, let's go to your presentation. Let me go into full screen and pass the controls on to you. So you can start with the presentation. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, now this should help us to start. So good afternoon everybody, I'm Ratti, I'm the director of the master, and I'm going to present let's say the previous experiences that we had with the master, and so give you information about the organization of the master and further details on what we plan to do next year with you, I hope. Just check if the presentation is going to start. Not yet. No, it's far. Okay. First of all, this master is one of the master managed by POLI.design, which is the consortium of Politecnico di Milano, and this is the master who deal especially about yacht design and construction. So the idea is to drive you over all the information needed to manage this process. That means starting from the idea of a yacht and arrive at the end to manage also the construction techniques and all the details needed to produce a yacht nowadays. These are some data about the period. This year we will start a bit early than previous year, so at the beginning of the month of February we'll start, and we will involve you till the end of the month of July in the teaching activities. After this period are scheduled the internship activities that are held in studios or shipyards, and that means that you will be involved for 1 year as we complete all the activities, let's say around March of 2019 with the final exam. So I don't know if say that is a short or long period, but it's a very intense period, that for sure, and you will be involved 3-4 days per week in the first part of the master, during which we will develop all the teaching activity, all the experiences scheduled in the first semester. And after that, you will be involved full time in a company, a studio, in a shipyard for the internship period. The structure of the master is composed by 8 teaching units. That means starting from the principle of yacht design and moving through the different tools that we considered are useful or needed to manage, as I said before, the full process that starts from the idea, from the generate a vision on a new project, and arrive with the capability to manage the construction phases or control the construction process. To do that, no, in addition to that, during the period we organized two design workshops. That means that all the people in small groups are involved in designing a motorboat and a sailing boat. Two different worlds, and the idea is to help you in understanding what the difference is between these two worlds and acquire all the technical aspects to manage these two projects. Over the period of the master, we did several visits. We have an agreement with the Italian Association of Producers. That means that we generally try to drive you seeing directly a production process, seeing how is managed the activity in the technical office of different yards, and in general we try to let you see what could be the differences that could be very hard, because you have to take into account that producing a boat nowadays doesn't mean always the same thing, but for example changing the construction technologies, changing the dimension of the boat, changing the typology of the boat, you can have you can need different kind of approach, different processes, and so the idea is to let you see how can change the production of a steel construction big motor yacht compared to a composite production of a racer sailing boat. So we generally manage to have this direct contact with the producer to let you know these differences. We plan every year to have the possibility to all of you to have also a direct experience of sailing, because we think that it's not possible to control perfectly the design of a yacht if you don't have any previous experiences in using this kind of living space. And this is the reason for which we generally organize some activities on boat just to help people who don't have previous experience in sailing to understand in a few days some tips and some technical aspects that are very important to manage the first stage of the design process. Another thing that we take care is the possibility to involve you in direct experiences. In this picture you can see some images taken from previous experiences of the master, in which students are directly involved in construction. We generally organize some activity to complete the formation on technical procedure of building, and that means that we have the possibility to produce a small boat, a small dinghy, but directly doing it and having the possibility to understand how important it is to control the details in the process. And another thing that we use a lot is the support of our laboratories. We have more than one laboratory that we can use to support your activity in modeling. That is a very important tool to support the development of your designing idea. This, for example, some picture of the laboratory that we generally use. Starting from the top is a picture of the laboratory of models. We have another laboratory especially focused on the composite technologies where we have the opportunity to work on composite using all the tools to set the different stages of the production of a board, starting from the use of a CNC machine, produce models, molds, and then laminating to the mold. That is the common process used nowadays to produce a yacht. The last few pictures are related to the wind tunnel we have in Milano, managed by colleagues of our coming from the Department of Mechanical Engineer. And the water tank, we generally use the water tank of the University of Naples. The colleague who is involved in this topic comes from that university, and so this is another tool that we can use to let you understand which kind of results can come from this kind of step. I think that a goal that we obtain over this long time is the possibility to finalize the teaching process. You see that we are starting now the 17th edition. That means that we have skilled around 400 people over this year, and a lot of hours of teaching, a lot of hours of internship, a lot of experiences, and a lot of feedback that we receive from people who attend the master, that we have the opportunity to meet in the studios, in the shipyard, and so have from them a feedback that we generally use to optimize the structure and the content of the new edition of the master. So this job is a job that started 17 years ago, and I can assure that nowadays we are very satisfied of the level reached, and we notice that the medium level that we obtain at the end of the master is very high, and we are very satisfied about the results obtained by the guys who attend the master. Generally, we work with different kind of company, and as I said before, also the visit that we held in studios, in shipyard, in companies, are the first step towards the possibility to have a relationship between these companies and the people who attend the master. Generally, we held internship both in shipyard or in studio. After I have some data, no, probably I show you after some further details on the internship, but before that I can tell you that what has changed over this year, because at the beginning we give an answer to the request of formation mainly coming from Italy, and nowadays we are set on a standard that is 70% of the composition of the class coming from abroad and coming, as you can see in the slide, from all over the world, not only from Europe, but from different countries. And I have to say that over the last year, we noticed we have requests coming from new and different countries, and we are very glad of that, because we consider that this is a great opportunity also for the people involved to exchange their experiences, to exchange their approach to the design of a yacht, and compare different kind of culture and drive this culture into the way of make the concept and make the design of a yacht. We are sure of that, and we notice that this is very much appreciated by the company who receive the outgoing students from the master. What's the background of the students who attend? You can see in this chart that we have three main background of the students. That means that we generally receive engineer, architect, and designer, and we try to do that when we do the selection procedure. We try to compose a classroom like that because we'd like to have this different profile, outgoing profile, because we know that the need of the yacht field is to have different kind of professional, and so this composition fits very well this kind of need. And so this is what we try, and you can see that we have also some people coming from the background of management, of economy, and this is important too for us and for the field as well. Probably you can read all the name of the place where we held internship, but I know that you have available this slide, so you can check. Just to say that we are in touch with several with the main shipyard and studio shipyard who are involved in the construction of sailing boats and motor yachts, and these are the studio and the companies where we held internship over the previous year. This is an information about the current internship held. Now we have 50% of the internship which are held in Italy. I imagine you know that Italy has a great background in yacht production, a great tradition, very high competencies in construction of yachts, both motor yacht and sailing boats. There's a great tradition in Italy about the design approach and this support the production of yacht in Italy. But over the years we enlarged the content, so nowadays half of the internship are held in the rest of the world, and also taking into account that the composition of the class is balanced, and so we have a lot of students that attend the master and take here a first experience, or use the internship to make the first professional experience in their own country, where we'd like to be back to start their professional activity. We are very proud to show you this slide in which we collected all the awards that students of ours in the different years have obtained. Are generally design competition toward which we drive the students, we invite the students to take part, and so these are over the years some important award that the student was able to gain. Over the last year, Th, who was a student of the previous edition, attended 2 awards and was able to win one of these and to take the 3rd position in the other one. So that's the reason why I invite Thibault to be here with us in order to give you his own experience. This was the introduction to Thibault, and I invite now him to give you some information on what was his own experience in the master, what was his experience in the design activity done in the master, what was his experience in the internship, or what was the role of this experience for his formation, and what is his impression on the relationship with the formation and following professional activity. So please, Thibault, I give you the microphone.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. So I'm Thibault Lemerdi. I did the master last year. So just to introduce myself, before I was an engineer. I have nothing to do with design or architecture or something like that. I was already doing a master in ocean engineering, so purely about engineering stuff. And I decided to move radically to design because I was very attracted since I was very young. So I did, like I think you are doing, my candidature, my application for the master. I show my motivation and I show my interest about the yacht design. And I'm very happy that the master was confident about me because thanks to this, I joined this the last year edition, and it was very, very helpful for me because as we saw before, we have the master that is divided, in third. We have the engineer, we have architect, and we have designers. And thanks to the 2 projects that we did, the motorboat and the sailing boat, we are able to take part about stuff that we want to learn. This master is it's a specialized master, so it's very important for us we are working for us, and the implication that we do is for us. So you want to learn the most possible, and you want to learn something that you don't know already. So if you are a designer, you can learn about engineering. You can learn about how a boat is sailing and everything. If you're an architect, you can learn about how to design a boat correctly, where to put the bedroom, or doing the layout, finding the good lines to make the boat beautiful, everything. So it's really, for me, it was very important, the 2 projects during the master. For this, I learned a lot. As Andrea said, it is only 6 months. So it's very intensive, but when you like to do it, it's always good, and you have to work a lot, on your own after the class. Into the slide, you saw that we have 3 days of classes, and the 2 other days are for this project. So during these 3 days, you learn everything about the theoretical, and the good point is you make it immediately in practice with the project that you are doing. So this is very good point. After for me, it was very important also to join this master because I know that the yachting world is not the easiest. Sometimes it's difficult to get in. And thanks to this master, you already put your feet into this world, and I think it's very important. It's a very big advantage. So thanks to the people taking care about the master. Everybody can find an internship. We have very good contacts. You saw the names, it's very famous names. It can be design studio or shipyard. You choose what you like, what you want for your future. And so after you do your internship during 6 months, and you continue to progress, because 6 months of classes is good, but not enough. So that's why we go also 6 months in internship to really consolidate your knowledge, and this is very, very important. You learn a lot, even more maybe than during the classes. It's really it's very, very interesting to get inside. And as I said, after when you put your feet into this world, it's very difficult you don't want to go out from this, and this master is very good help to get in. And I'm very happy to join this one. It was nice. It was a very good experience. We had a lot of opportunity to enjoy also doing this. With the selling experience, we went to Como Lake to sell. We have a very good team bonding. All the international people, gathering together and making friends. After every year we see each other now. With the Monaco Yacht Show of last week, you can meet back all the students. It's very nice. It's what I like also, because about this master, is really try to push the international, team bonding. It is in Italy, but I think it's the only master that is in English. So for me, it was good. I was not speaking English before, so it was an easy access for me. And I met a lot of people coming from South Korea, America, and everything, and I keep in contact with them. I see them as much as I can, and they are working through the yachting world too, so it's very nice.
Thibault, don't you spend a few words on what are you doing now?
So after so while I was doing my internship, I participate to the both International Awards. I get the chance to be the winner. It asked a lot of work, but I was very happy. It was very worth it, because after thanks to this, I created a lot of contacts, and I could be able to work with River Rosemary in Monaco, the city where I wanted to go. I'm French, so as you said, I wanted to go back home, and so I was working for them, because last week I finished my contract. Everything was going very good, so I still continue to work for them as a freelancer. And now I just joined the Oceanco team for an internship for 3 months as a designer. So it's only the beginning, I hope, and I'm going to continue to work hard and to work hard. But when you really like what you are doing, it's not really working. It's pleasure every day. So I really encourage you, if you like yacht and all the marine industry, to join this role. It's very nice.
Okay. Thanks, Thibault.
Thank you.
Now I give the microphone to Elisa, that will have the opportunity to give you some detailed information on the way of subscribe the master and other technical information. Elisa is the person in charge to manage the relationship with all the students in the different masters, so we can say that it's the mother of all the students of the master, and that you are going to know her for the first time.
Hi, good afternoon. As Professor was saying, my name is Elisa, and I deal with the technical part, with the selection process and the admission process. So here I will give you some details from the bureaucratic point of view. Mainly, if you were interested in this presentation taking place today and you would like to submit your application for the master, the first thing that you will have to do will be to submit the application documents by email to the email address formazione@poli.design.net. And mainly the documents that you need to send are your application that you may find on the website of POLI.design in the area download of the page of the master. Your updated CV and a motivational letter in which explain why you would like to take part in the master. And from the bureaucratic point of view, we need as well a copy of your passport or of your identity documents and the scanning of your degree and extra transcript. It is mainly the selection process is made of two parts. First of all, we have the collection of the application form, CV, and motivation letter that finishes with a Skype interview with the master board. So a selection interview in which the master board will be able to know a little bit more about your profile. And let's say a technical part that is done by the technical office of Politecnico di Milano, who will analyze your degree and exam transcript in order to understand if your degree is officially recognized to take part in the master. After this selection process is completed, you will receive by email a feedback. Of course, both in case of a positive evaluation and in case of a negative one. So you will receive the details by email, and you will know if you have been selected for the master or not. Mainly, I think you have already seen some technical details, and in particular the cost of the master, it is 12,000 euro and 500. And as for this point, remember that some partial extensions are available. They cover 25% of the master cost, and in order to take part in the selection for them, you need to submit your application documents before October the 27th, 2017. And also in this case, all the documents should be submitted. So mainly that was more or less all the details about the selection, and of course in case you have questions about this point or of course about the content and so on, we are here to reply to everything that is that might not be clear or you wish to go deeper in.
Okay. I know, Luis, that we have now some time for question and answer session.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Yeah, as you indicated, now it's turn to go to the Q&A session. Let me check if we have any questions from a member of our audience. We've got a question from a student asking what is the total cost for education and tuition fees, the total one. If you perhaps can clarify this. And he's also asking what is the total cost for an average adult for food, transportation, total expenses.
Well, as for the cost of the master, it's 12,500 euro, and mainly it's 500 euro for the enrollment fees to Politecnico, and the participation cost for the whole period of the master is 12,000 euro. Whereas, and it is only referred to the master from the beginning of February until the very end. That is the cost of the master. Whereas as for the accommodation and materials and so on, mainly those things are not included in the master cost. And as for the accommodation and living cost, it is very difficult to say because that must depend on the student's choices. I would say that you should take into consideration an average of 800 or 1,000 euros per month, more or less. Of course, it can be very difficult to say because it much depends on the personal choices of each student, depending on which type of accommodation they choose, if it is a shared apartment or a single apartment and things like that. So maybe that is quite difficult. But maybe that is the most important cost because as a matter of fact, as for the materials, books and so on, of course you have access to the library of Politecnico, and all the materials that are shared by the lecturers during the master itself are available for the students in file format, so there is no need to buy books or things like that because you have free access to the libraries and laboratories of Politecnico di Milano. So mainly the living costs are more linked to the accommodation and food and travels and so on.
Yes, I can add that all the books that we use in the master are given to the students, the software as well, and so it's right what Elisa said. So the living cost depends on the choices of the students. I can say that typically they organize themselves sharing apartments, and so this is the way to reduce costs and also to having a better experience in the group of the club.
Thank you very much. Before to ask the next question, I would like to remind our audience that we have just opened a poll for the students to answer some questions about the program. They can find it on the right-hand side of the screen, and it will take more than a minute to complete. As soon as they finish the polling, please click on the button Submit to send their feedback. And going back to the Q&A session, we've got a question from a student asking if do they need working experience before to join this masters?
If are needed,
If people that want to join this masters, if do they need some working experience?
well, of course, we think that a master experience is the possibility to start from a knowledge level and to increase this level. That means that if people already have direct experience in yacht design, in yacht construction, in a shipyard, or in a company who is already involved in the field, this could help for sure. But I have to say that we obtain also very good results from students who didn't have any previous experience of working this. I can say that all the people who attend the master are already designers in the wide meaning. That means designer, architect, engineer who who has the capability to manage a design process. That means that in sometimes the master is the possibility to redrive their skills into the yacht field, into the yacht processes, and so take some previous experience held in or done in other field into the yacht field. So I don't think this could be a problem. Useful if they already have. It's not a problem if they don't still have.
Thank you very much. Another question from Luca. He's asking in which city we can find an employment after finishing these masters.
Hi Luca. We should have a crystal sphere to reply to your question. It's not possible to give an answer to that. I can say that this is up to you. That means after the master, we organize and we support you in finding an internship place, and this could be in Italy or all over the world, according to your preferences, to your profile, and to the opportunities offered in that moment by the companies with we are in touch. After that, it's your life. So it's up to you to decide where to go looking for a job, which kind of company join or studio join. So it's very hard to give you an answer. I can say that nowadays, after 16 years of teaching activity in the master, we have people all over the world, in, let's say, some hundreds of countries and towns. So that's my answer.
Thank you very much. Another question from Valeria. She's asking, how long does it take for the admission procedure? Sorry.
I mean, after candidates send the CVs, we take interviews that, as a general rule, take place around during 3 days per month. So mainly, immediately after you have taken the interview, and according, of course, to the time to provide a feedback about the recognition of the degree, we send the final feedback about the eligibility of the student for the master. So mainly, as a general rule, after you take the interview, either Skype or by phone, in around 1 week or 10 days, you receive a feedback about the eligibility for the master itself. Also because, especially for foreign candidates, we try to be as quick as possible, because mainly, of course, we are aware of the fact that in case of a positive evaluation, there are some steps to be undertaken, and so mainly the visa may require some time, and the fact of course, moving from a continent to another can be, something that you need to organize in detail. So mainly in around maximum 10 days from the time of the interview, we provide feedback, both in a positive or in a negative way.
Thank you very much. There's a question from a member of our audience. It's from Alexander. He's currently studying naval architecture. He's in his last year, and he's trying to figure out if his academic background is relevant for this type of masters.
Yes, for sure. As said before, we think that all the degrees that are close to the matter that we deal, that is yacht design and yacht production, are of course very useful for the students who attend the master, because they have the possibility not only to attend a formation, different formation steps, but also have the opportunity to go deeper using the help of the different teachers or the faculty is composed by professors coming from different universities and professionals coming from different fields. And I think that the more is starting formation, and the more the best result could be obtained by the students. So if Alexander, I understood, was the question. If Alexander is already completing a formation in naval engineer architecture, I think it could be very useful, and there's the possibility to add to this kind of formation that is coming from the engineer field, the other part that I consider is needed to manage the design of a yacht, that is the design part, the cultural support to the decision of how to manage this wonderful activity.
Thank you very much again. There's a question from Philip. asking what kind of software is used during this course. Giving some examples, Rhino, 3ds Max, etc. If you can give some examples, please.
Yes. We use a software that is typically used for managing the control of the surface in naval architecture, that is MaxSurf, because it's a software that can allow people to manage the develop of the surface of the shape of the hull of the boat, but also to control other parameters that like stability, like the structure, like the fluid dynamics, optimization, and so on. Of course, besides these software, are used different kind of software because every people come here with a background of experiences in using software, and they can still go forward in using that. So for modeling, for managing the interior. During the master, it's not use time to teach these other software, but we are focused on this. That is a specific software for Yacht Design, and we allow the possibility to use different kind of software to the students according to their previous capability of manage the software.
Thank you very much once again. Another question from Alexander regarding the age in this master. He's asking what is the average age in this course of the students?
The perfect number, I don't know the perfect number. I can say that we have two different kind of people, if I can say like that. That means that the master is a first degree master, a first level master. That means that with a degree of first level, the student can attend. So we receive generally people who have just finished their formation period, and so we have people of 25 years or something around. But we have, besides, other people who come to the master in order to, for example, improve their capability in design. They could be already involved in other different design activities, in architecture, in design in general, in engineer, and they want to have this experience to their possibility of to their skills of professionals. That means that we receive people who could have could be 30 years old or even 40 years old. So I think that this is very, very interesting for the people involved, because in addition to the possibility to exchange experience from the cultural and technical point of view, there's also the possibility to mix in a classroom in which we have younger and older people, and this works very well, and is an opportunity that is give an adding value to the transfer of knowledge that we do in the master.
Thank you very much once again. I can see that some people still hasn't completed our poll. So yeah, it would be great if they could just write the answers. It would take, as I said, it wouldn't take more than a minute to complete. And I think it's important for them to give us some feedback. And going back to the next question, is from Victor. Not really a question, it's more of a request. Victor is asking if he can add Thibault on LinkedIn.
Yeah, with pleasure. I already spoke with some people interested in this master, and I'm always free to answer more questions after this conference. And I always try to help people and to make them understand correctly this master, and to help them as I can. So yeah, we.
Thank you very much, Thibaut. Another question for you. I've got a student asking, what does a typical timetable for a student look like?
For this one, so as we saw, we have 3 days of work per week. If I remember, it's like from 9 to 6 p.m., something like that, the classes. And after, so we do these classes. After you go back home, and depending on how much you want to work on it, you can finish pretty late, or you can finish like around midnight or something. It really depends, like how good you are, and like for example, I spend a lot of time at the beginning to learn by myself Rhino, so it was intensive at the beginning, but indeed very important. And as I have said, it's 6 months of master, and we get so many knowledge, and we need to like put it into these 2 projects. So you have to work at home. It's not only 3 days of class, and after you go back home and enjoy the weekend. You have to invest your time, your personal time to get a good result if you want to to work on. You have some work. So yeah, that's it. It depends of you and of your team also, because into this project you are 4 people team. So sometime after class you meet with your team group, and you continue to work into the classroom. If I remember well, the classroom finishes at 8:30, so you can stay there as you want. So pretty different your own motivation. So like that was yeah. So.
That's right. At any rate, sometimes for some happy hour is less.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's because I'm thinking about the end of the master, when you have to give the project, so the pressure is always getting a little bit more. At the beginning of the master, you have time to enjoy the city and to discover Milano, which is a very beautiful city. You can have a lot of fun there. So after it's a question of like organize yourself and with your team, with yourself, like to review your classes and everything. And if you organize well, if you understand what the teacher is asking for, you are going to find time to do and to find a good equilibrium.
Thank you very much, Thibaut. Another question for you from Alexander again. He's asking if what was the most challenging aspect of the Yacht Design Master that you found as an engineer?
As I just said, for me, learning how to design well was difficult for me because I was an engineer, but it's what I wanted to learn, so it was perfect. I learned Rhino after classes. I spent time on it, and with the practice of the project, with the help of the other people. Just to give an example, I was like roommate with a car designer. So he had nothing to do with engineer. I didn't know anything about design, so we came together and we teach each other how to do it, and this was challenging for me to learn how to design correctly, how to like get a little bit out of the box with my engineering knowledge. It's sometimes difficult, but it's a good challenge.
Thank you very much. Another question from Philippe. I believe it's going to be the last one for today, if no one submits any other question. Philippe is asking if the course is taught entirely in Milano Bovise campus.
Is mainly in Bovisa campus, even if, as I said before, over the first semester, we organize several activities. And for example, we will have the need to use our laboratory in the campus of Lecco or other facilities in other universities, such as the need to visit places that are not in the campus, like CPRs and studios, or managing activities Thibault said before on the lake and so on. So I can say that mainly the activity, 78% is held in the campus in Movisa, and other 30% is out of campus. Of course, at the end of the first semester, the stage activity is where is the CPR of the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Philippe just submitted another question. He's asking if is the master design focused, or does it focus as well on technical aspects? He's also asking if there are lectures strictly about technical aspects of design.
Yes, I have to say that our goal is to try to transfer the different type of knowledge needed to manage the design process. That means that, for example, especially in the first period, technical aspects are the level on which we work, because students need to receive this kind of information and tools to start with the design of the boat. I mean, you have to control the effect of the stability on a yacht, or to the effect of the shape of a yacht on his own performances. And so we need to do this in the first period of teaching activity. After that, our goal is to transfer also the cultural support and all other tools to control the design. And this means that the sensibility in controlling the shape, the interiors, and the other details that can give the difference between two results or design are so important. The example we have today with Thibault is the example to combine technical knowledge with the capability to manage sensibility in design. And I have to say that in Thibault and in many other we had this very good result to summarize this capability and control, the two levels that can make a very good design.
Thank you very much once again. Another question from a student asking if the ones who want to join this master need to know some Italian language.
No, not for attending the master, because the master is held completely in English, and typically the activity, the reference books we use are in English. If there is a possibility to learn Italian before the starting period or even during the period